Hi guitar players, my name is Josh, and today I'm going to show you how to play natural harmonics on the guitar. And I'm also going to show you a few examples of how to incorporate these into Christmas songs. And if you haven't already, on my website I have a book that has guitar tab for 10 Christmas songs, and I'll put a link in the description where you can go and get that if you don't have it already. But today, we're going to talk about natural harmonics, and I just love to use natural harmonics. I use them whenever I can in guitar arrangements because they sound very beautiful. And the way that you get these to happen, well, let me show you an example. They're just kind of these chimey sounds like that you do. And the way you get these is if you very lightly touch the string on the 12th fret, just very lightly. So we're not going to push the string down and have it touch the fret. We're just barely going to touch the string. And we're also going to do it like right over the fret here. So on the 12th fret there, you can do it on the low E string. And then if you pick that string, and I like to pick natural harmonics a little bit closer to the bridge than you usually would maybe pick, because it just helps them ring out more clearly. So we get this kind of sound. And this works on the 12th fret, and the 7th fret, and on the 5th fret. And you can even use a few of them on the 4th fret, like on the lower strings. The higher strings really get challenging to make this ring out. So a couple things about these. One is that they ring out very well, but they work better if you release very quickly. So if you put your finger on there and then pick, and then if you can time it just where right after you pick, you release your finger from the string over here, that really helps. For this first example, I'm going to be using my drop D capo here. I just love these things. I have a link in the description where you can get one. And if you don't have a drop D capo though, you can just use a normal capo and put it on the 2nd fret and just cover all but the top string there. But if you have drop D capo, you can go like this. And so I'm going to show you Silent Night. Now in Silent Night, I just use harmonics just kind of at the end, like I'll do it between verses or at the very end. And so it's almost kind of like punctuation. It just kind of gives a chance to kind of like reset things. And so the end of the song goes like this. So you hear there. At the end I play on the 5th fret. I actually do 2 of these at the same time. And I really love to do that with harmonics, where you can, a lot of times because they're stacked up on a line here, you can get like the melody and a harmony note, kind of like a soprano and alto part or whatever. So in this case, you can get those two together. Sometimes you can do, like I could do 3 of them there, but since I only use 2 fingers to pick in my pick, I just kind of go with 2 there. But and then I'll start over. Or at the end of the song, I'll just go, just let those ring out. And one trick with harmonics is a lot of times if you can get a couple of these higher harmonics to ring out at the same time you have like a bass note, the contrast of the low and the high, and them ringing out together, it really just kind of creates a beautiful sound on the guitar. Okay, so now we're going to look at a second example, and this one's more fun, a little bit more advanced. We're going to talk about my arrangement of Sing We Now of Christmas. And in this one, I actually, in the intro, I came up with this little melody here that I play with these. And so what I'll do is I'll play that low. So this one I'm not using the drop D capo, I'm just playing in standard tuning here. But I'll play. And I'll do that again. And then I'll start into the song, I'll go on from there. But and I'll do that for the intro, and then between the verses and at the end I'll do it again. And it sounds really, it just sounds kind of neat. I think it sets the song up in a nice way. And so the way I'm doing that is, and I play hybrid where I play with a pick and then use my fingers, but if you're just going to use your thumb and fingers, you could just use your thumb to pick that bass note. And then we're just, you can see on the tab there, the first time, and the second time doing that. And for the bass note, the first time through it's the E, and then the second time it's that A string there. So a lot of times one thing I will do with this and with other songs is I will alternate the bass note with the melody note. So I might start by, you know, picking the bass note and the melody note at the same time, and then maybe I'll pick the second one, and then I'll pick the bass note in between, like that. And usually those ones in between, those bass notes, I'll pick them kind of softer. That kind of fills it in a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to look at the song, Oh Holy Night. And I use these between the end of the second chorus, and I do kind of a third changed chorus there where I alter a few things. But so coming out of the second chorus, it goes like this. And then I go. And then it goes on from there. So this here, you notice, so I play, you see there in the tab that I'm playing this 12th fret in the low E string, and then I'm going like this. So really what I'm doing there is I'm outlining an E minor chord. This one really cool thing about guitar tab, about using these natural harmonics is that on the 12th fret, like whatever chord, like if a chord has open strings, you can just play whatever open strings a chord has, and it will kind of sound like that chord. And this especially works with the E minor since there's 4 open strings to play. So you get that very clearly implied E minor chord. This also works with the G. You know, there's 3 open strings on your normal G chord. You know, that shows you, it makes you think of the G chord. So that's one thing I'll say about the harmonics is that whatever note, on the 12th fret and the 5th fret, the note that you have there is actually the same as the open string. So like for example on the 12th fret here that's an E, just like on the 5th fret here that's an E, 2 octaves up. This one's 1 octave up. And the 7th fret here is the 5th, so just like the, so the 5th of the open E would be B, but this is B in a higher octave there. Now the 4th fret is kind of weird because that's the 3rd. Which makes sense because the 4th fret would be the 3rd anyway, but that one's way up there, it's a couple octaves higher. So that will help you know, that way you can determine what note it is you're playing when you're playing these natural harmonics. A few other things. One is that a lot of times if I'm going to use a lot of times when I'm playing a song, I may even play the melody of a song with natural harmonics, and so I'm bouncing around between the 12th and the 5th, or 7th and the 5th frets over here. And the 12th fret harmonics tend to be much louder and clearer than the 5th fret harmonics. So a lot of times if I'm mixing them in, I will play the 12th harmonics, 12th fret harmonics a little bit quieter intentionally than I do over here. These ones you really have to pick hard, whereas over on the 12th fret you might just kind of pick those very softly and they'll sound like the same volume. One thing about these two is that they ring out very well. They kind of just like to stay ringing, and so make sure if you're playing a passage and you've got several natural harmonics happening, make sure not to mute one of them accidentally, as you're moving your fingers around to the next thing. Try to let them ring out, and that really has a good effect. One more little bonus thing here is I'll just show you an example of when I play, like when I survey the Wondrous Cross, and there's multiple other songs I do this too, where I play the whole melody of the song with the harmonics. It goes on like that, and with that I'm using the drop D capo, and so I can get this D bass note and then all these notes that I'm doing, they're 12 frets up from the capo, so they work out a little bit differently. And that's one reason I really like the drop D capo, is because if you slap that on there, and then you've got these notes that work well, in the key of D versus that low bass note. And so I do that in a lot of songs, really. But when when I'm bouncing around like that, it's kind of, it's kind of hard to find the melody note when you're first trying to figure it out. And so as part of my my guitar hymn book, it's got 11 hymns in it, not the Christmas book, but the other one. I actually have a chart in there that shows where all those notes are on, in all these sections when you're playing with the drop D capo, so that might be helpful for you. So thank you so much. I hope that this helps you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll try to answer those. So God bless. Happy playing.